The cigarette is incredible. Seriously, it calms you down when the world screams, keeps you company when everyone leaves, understands you without saying a word. But there's something about it, something no one ever told you. Something that makes it even smarter and way more cruel than you think. I found out what it is, and after that, I could never look at a cigarette the same way again.
Over 1 billion people smoke today, not because they love the smell, but because they love what a cigarette promises, a few seconds of peace. Nobody lights their first cigarette thinking they're signing up to die. They just want to slow down for a moment. A cigarette feels like the perfect pause. Quiet, loyal, always there. That first drag doesn't taste like poison, it tastes like relief. The brain records that moment as comfort, and from that day on, every puff feels like coming home. That's why quitting hurts so much, because biologically, your body believes it's losing someone it loves.
The cigarette is patient. It doesn't need to ruin you fast. It prefers to win you slowly. It gives you pleasure in seconds and takes payment in years. Like a loan with invisible interest. And your body signs that contract without ever reading the fine print. But the most fascinating part happens when the body finally tries to cancel the deal. That's when the cigarette reveals just how genius it really is. Every cigarette releases more than 7,000 toxic chemicals. Within 10 seconds, nicotine reaches your brain. Dopamine spikes, the same chemical that floods your body when you fall in love. That's why your brain mistakes smoke for affection. But that love story doesn't last. When the dopamine drops, the emptiness moves in. It's like a chemical heartbreak, and the only thing that makes it go away is another hit. With every new drag, the body trusts itself a little less, and trusts the cigarette a little more. The cigarette doesn't destroy you quickly, it destroys you politely. And that's why so many people confuse destruction with comfort. Quitting smoking is like fighting a war that no one else can see. The first day feels calm, but your brain is already screaming for nicotine. 20 minutes after that last puff, your heart rate starts to normalize. 2 hours later, your blood pressure evens out. Then comes the silence. Your body begins to feel the absence, and the absence hurts. Your hands get restless. Your mind starts negotiating. Just one more. This is where most people give up. Not because they're weak, but because the cigarette was smart enough to disguise itself as comfort. 3 days later, the real storm hits. Headaches, nausea, irritability, a sadness you can't name. It's your brain learning how to live without artificial dopamine. Someone once wrote, "It felt like a part of me had disappeared." Another said, "The hardest part wasn't the coughing, it was the emptiness." But something shifts after that. A week in, the air starts to smell different. Food tastes sharper. The world feels a little more alive. A month later, blood runs cleaner. Your lungs open wider. The fear fades. And what replaces it is pride. Some relapse, some don't. But they all describe the same miracle. That first day they realized they went the whole day without thinking about smoking. That's how freedom arrives. No fireworks, no loud celebration, just a quiet calm. A peace the cigarette promised, but never delivered. From that moment on, the body keeps healing. After 3 months, the lungs clean themselves. After 1 year, the risk of heart disease is cut in half. After 15, your heart forgets you ever smoked. The body recovers. But what truly comes back to life is your soul. Quitting smoking is like leaving a toxic relationship. At first, you miss it. Then you get angry. But one day, you wake up and realize you went all day without thinking about it. And for the first time, the air smells like life again. Because quitting isn't just about lungs. It's about remembering who you were before the smoke. Freedom doesn't start when the craving ends. It starts the moment you understand you never really needed it.
So that's it. I'm Andy, a professional hypochondriac, powered by Wi-Fi, cold coffee, and way too much imagination. My brain invents diseases faster than Google can diagnose them, and I turn that into a channel. If you've ever Googled symptoms at 3 a.m., or were absolutely sure a sneeze was the end, you'll probably relate to me. Here, we talk about fear, curiosity, the body, the mind, and all the weird things that happen in between. So, hit subscribe. Because in the next videos, I'll keep doing what I do best, freaking out with style, and hopefully making you laugh or think while I'm at it. Trust me, this is the only channel where anxiety gets a script and panic becomes content. At the start, I said the cigarette is incredible, and it is. Incredible in how it seduces, incredible in how it destroys, gently. But the most incredible thing of all is what happens when you finally let it go. Because the silence that follows isn't emptiness, it's freedom.